Thank you so much for joining us. Just time for a quick recap of the week, and we begin with the Trump White House, where every morning Jared Kushner slams the door and yells, "Oh yeah? Well, you don't have clearance to hear my secrets!" It was another head-spinning week at the White House, from the departure of Chief Economic Advisor Gary Cohn to the continuing saga of Stormy Daniels to the announcement on Thursday that Trump had apparently agreed to a historic summit with Kim Jong Un. This seemingly came out of nowhere. Apparently, South Korean officials had delivered him a message that Kim Jong Un was open to a meeting, and then this happened.
The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump interrupted a conversation between South Korean officials and said, okay, tell them I'll do it. The South Korean officials looked at each other as if in disbelief, according to a White House official with knowledge of the meeting. Tell him yes, the president said.
And that was it! Trump broke with decades of precedent with all the strategic forethought you'd put into taking a sample at Costco. Oh, salmon jerky? Fuck it, let's do it. If I don't like it, it's not like it's the end of the world. And look, who knows if this summit is even going to happen? By the very next day, they were walking it back because nothing Trump says means anything. But what that North Korean news did do is distract from something else that happened on Thursday, and that was International Women's Day. That one special day a year for half the population of Earth. Knock yourselves out, 3.5 billion people. It was a day of marches all over the world in support of causes from equal pay to combating sexual harassment, all of which were truly inspiring. What was dispiriting was that, yet again, International Women's Day inspired reactions ranging from the clumsy to the appalling, starting with the ham-fisted efforts of brands trying to appear like progressive feminists. McDonald's turned its M upside down, you know, for women, because I guess the M is for men the rest of the time. Porsche nonsensically blacked out the letters in their logo until it read she, and then there was Brawny, who ran a Who's Your Shero campaign.
Brawny celebrates Sheroes this Women's History Month and supports Girls Inc. to inspire Sheroes of tomorrow. Who's your Shero?
Now, the only problem with that is that we consulted some linguistics experts, and it turns out, and this is true, there's already a word for women's heroes, and it's the word heroes. It's a little like the word sheroes, only it's not stupid, and it is a word. Now, Mattel fared a little better with their new line of inspiring women Barbie dolls, which is a nice idea. The problem there was that one local newscaster somehow found a way to make it creepy.
The three inspiring women dolls are aviator Amelia Earhart, artist Frida Kahlo, and mathematician Katherine Johnson. I love the Frida Kahlo one. She's dressed up.
Salma Hayek, right? The movie?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So you like that movie, yeah?
I like Selma.
Oh, you like Salma Hayek?
I like Selma.
Okay.
It was a segment about women's empowerment, children's toys, and a long-dead artist, but he decided, I can perv out on this, I will perv out on this. With God as my witness, I will make this Women's Day segment about my dick. And that was not the only awkward interaction at a TV news desk on Thursday. Step forward, CBS This Morning, a show that recently fired Charlie Rose following sexual harassment allegations, and yet they still transitioned from a segment about dog behaviour to a segment about International Women's Day like this.
The researchers say it's kind of like speaking to your dog the way you do to a baby, but don't mistake the two.
Yes. Come here, you little sweetie pie. Don't you look so cute?
Oh, my God, I just want to be in your lap, Nora.
You know you two are not alone. There's people in the room.
Yeah, Gail's right. There are people in the room, although maybe we should focus on who's not in the room. Let's ask ourselves, who is not in that room, and how did he come to be not in the room? I'm just saying, it seems that CBS This Morning is less a morning show and more 2 hours of incriminating office surveillance footage that accidentally gets broadcast across the country every day. But those were all one-off moments. Some news anchors were spending the entire day acting inappropriately, like Philadelphia's Mike Jerrick. Now, we don't have time to show you everything he did. This is just a sample of what he got up to on Thursday.
Have a great day, International Women. What's the deal? Why do you need your own day? They changed the brawny dude to a woman. Yeah. Just, give me some ideas. How could we change that into something good to celebrate women? Yeah, it's great. You'll love it. How do you keep your girlish figure? Have you ever cheated on your husband?
No.
Okay. Last time you had sex?
Mike.
It's the Alex Holly.
Turn it on, Mike.
What? Well, no, it's so authentic. It has a mic pack on it.
What do you do with this doll that you have at home?
I just put it by my bedside.
Okay.
So I can wake up in the morning, open my eyes, and see you.
That is gross. And I would say that we should all now take a shower after that, but I feel like Mike Jerrick would hear that and say, nice. But perhaps the worst moments this Women's Day were from male politicians. In the UK, Boris Johnson, Foreign Secretary and dumpy Swedish Beatle, celebrated the day by visiting school children, which is a perfectly pleasant idea. But when you turn up the audio, the subject of Cleopatra apparently came up, and Johnson decided to tell the kids, unprompted, how she died.
She got some snakes brought in and casted a feast. She wanted to commit suicide because Anthony was dead. She loved Anthony. And so she took out the snake, which was called an asp, and she put it on her bosom. And she died. And that was the end of Cleopatra.
What are you doing? I would happily watch hours of Boris Johnson explaining grim endings to distracted children. So then Sarah loses her mind, Harry has his arm amputated, and Marion performs a sex show for drugs, and that was the end of Requiem for a Dream, children. Also, kudos to that one kid who gave him a thumbs up at the end of the story. Oh, great job, Boris. Can't wait to go home and ask my mom what bosoms and suicide are. And frankly, who better to end this roundup of International Women's Day than Vladimir Putin? Because this year, in his annual speech celebrating women, he decided to read a Russian love poem that featured some truly unfortunate sentiments.
Нас покоряет женская душа.
It is a woman's soul that conquers us. When she is young, when she's a mother, and even when her hair goes grey.
Even when her hair goes grey. That is both a bizarre sentiment and a very weird summary of any woman's life. First, she is child. Then, she makes child. Then, she changes colour. She is like banana if banana make other bananas. What I'm trying to say is, Happy International Women's Day, you eternally fuckable bananas. I'm just saying, in the extremely unlikely event that Vladimir Putin loses his upcoming election, there might be a morning news job in Philly that he would be perfect for. And now, this.
And now, an MSNBC guest brought on to discuss Gary Cohn's departure can't get over the Bachelor finale.
He comes down to two women, tells one he loves her, but he's going to pick the other one, and she cries in the limousine going home. Then he picks the other one. There's the blonde and the brunette. So he picks the brunette, and then he proposes to her, gets down on one knee, and then it goes to the host, Chris Harrison, who says, but this is not the end of the story. So then the Bachelor says he can't stop thinking about the blonde.
Oh, my God.
And then the brunette comes to spend a weekend with him in some house they rented for them somewhere in Los Angeles. And he sits her down, and then they say, this is the most dramatic thing in Bachelor history. We're going to show you unedited what happened. So they had a camera on him, a camera on her. And he says to her, I'm breaking up with you. And for 20 minutes, America watched Becca, the brunette,
my God,
cry,
stop. You know
cry and feel humiliated and cry and say, go away, and then he wouldn't go away.
Moving on. Now, our main story tonight concerns technology, the thing that will eventually make television so high def I will no longer be allowed to appear on it. And I want to approach this subject carefully because discussions of any new technology tend to age very badly, as this news report from less than 5 years ago shows.
The first users of Google Glasses surely will not be the last.
I think it'll end up changing our lifestyles, you know, changing the way we interact with each other, and just changing the gesture. Instead of this, it will be that.
Yeah, it wasn't though. It was not that, because for some reason people didn't mind doing this with their hands if the alternative was wearing a stupid robot on their face all day. The point is, it is dangerous to make predictions about where tech is going. So that said, tonight we're going to talk about cryptocurrencies. Everything you don't understand about money combined with everything you don't understand about computers. The main currency you've probably heard about is Bitcoin. It's been all over the news because last year its value exploded from around $1,000 at the beginning of the year to $9,000 by November to nearly $20,000 by December. Bitcoin became such a hot topic that paparazzi started asking celebrities about it. Watch Michael Keaton leaving a restaurant.
See you guys. All right, man. Take care. Hey, would you recommend buying Bitcoin?
You know what's funny? I was just talking to my buddy about that, who knows about this. I got two different. One guy said, "Yeah, you probably want to." Another friend of mine said, "Not like it's a bad thing. They just don't know where it's going to go."
I've got to say, you do not expect conversations with paparazzi to be so nuanced. Hey, Cardi B, what are your thoughts on the idea of universal basic income? Well, it could go a long way to reducing inequality, but I don't think the American people would support the tax increase necessary to fund it. You can read all about it in my book, Cardinomics, Making Money Moves for a New American Century. And this was a dramatic shift. Because just a few years ago, you'd only hear about Bitcoin from that one guy in your office who wouldn't shut up about it. Let's call him Dan. And the reason that we're calling him Dan is that Dan is the exact guy in our office who's been annoying everybody with his "you gotta get into Bitcoin" shit for years. This is why we hate Dan. It's honestly not the only reason, but it's the easiest one to bring up right now. The point is, lately, more and more normal people, or non-Dans, have been getting into cryptocurrencies, partly because they may have seen stories like this.
Dylan Fine is living the dream.
I had that Mitsubishi Eclipse, my windows didn't work, my AC didn't work, right? I had to open my doors just to get food at the drive-thru.
Everything changed when he met a friend who introduced him to Bitcoin.
I turned $350 into $12,000.
He became a millionaire at 24. All by investing in Bitcoin.
I can literally put in a trade, wait a few hours, let the exchange rate fluctuate, and I'm actually able to profit from the world's largest financial market in the world.
Yes, that man is apparently a millionaire now, which is presumably why he's being interviewed on the most expensive outdoor swamp log in South Florida. And despite the fact that Bitcoin has dropped by nearly half since the start of this year, there is still a cryptocurrency fervor going on, with people watching people like that guy get rich, or hearing about others on Reddit or Twitter and feeling driven to invest in crypto due to FOMO, or fear of missing out. Now, FOMO is a term that many of you probably already knew about, but I'm 40 years old, British and oblivious, or FIOBO. So with all this excitement and curiosity, we thought we'd try and explain a few things tonight. Bitcoin, blockchain, the technology that allows it to exist, and cryptocurrencies in general. And I'm going to be simplifying things a lot here. So let's start with Bitcoin, which is a digital, decentralized currency. That basically means Bitcoin only exists as computer code, and there is no bank or government creating or controlling it. And I know that this is already a little hard to understand, so I'll let this man in a Bitcoin suit give you a surprisingly decent explanation.
I'm a virtual currency. Worldwide, you can send for little to no fees. Open source, not controlled by any government, corporation, or individual. It's financial freedom, bro.
Thanks, bro. That is a nuanced and accurate explanation of a complex topic delivered with the help of a man in a stupid costume, and I would love to make fun of that, except it's literally the entire business model of this fucking television show. And look, you may at this point be thinking, but wait, how do you make money from Bitcoin? To which Dan would say, you just trade it on exchanges like any other currency. And if you then asked, well, how does it have value? Dan would reply, how does any money have value, man? And then he'd say, call me the brain fillator, because I just blew your fucking mind. To which you'd say, forget I asked, Dan, you're absolutely gross, I hate you. But the problem is, Dan is kind of right. Like most currencies, the fundamental reason that Bitcoin has value is because people agree that it has value. In fact, at the moment, it's really being treated more like a speculative investment than a currency. Think of it like Beanie Babies. Why is this Beanie Baby currently being offered for sale on Etsy at a price of $15,000? Well, because its owner thinks that someone will pay that for it. And you know what? That owner was absolutely right. I'm kidding. I just bought this at a yard sale for $10,000. I'm not a complete idiot. And look, while Bitcoin is very interesting as a concept, there are still some complicated technical issues to work out before it can become a usable everyday currency. Just look what happened in January.
Hundreds are in Miami this week for a Bitcoin conference, but it had to stop taking Bitcoin as a payment for tickets last week, suggesting there are still some kinks to work out with the currency.
It's true. A Bitcoin conference stopped taking Bitcoin, which is a red flag, since that's the one place you'd think it would be accepted. It's like when I tried to pay for access to the Republican National Convention using Ronald Reagan's dusty skeleton bones. Everyone there agreed they had value, there just wasn't an adequate network in place for the completion of our transaction. But whether Bitcoin catches on or not, many people believe that the really exciting thing about it is the potential of the innovative technology that it's built on, and that's something called blockchain. Now, normally, if I wanted to send money to someone across the world, a bank would need to verify that transaction, and it could take days. But with Bitcoin, it is vastly faster because no bank is involved. And that is because blockchain technology allows a record, or a ledger, of every Bitcoin transaction ever made to be stored not in one place, but across vast numbers of computers. That is part of what people mean when they say Bitcoin is decentralized. And decentralization has a lot of theoretical advantages, from speed to security.
The key point here is that this is a distributed ledger. There is no central server. All the other ledgers that we have, all banking ledgers, all company ledgers, they all sit and reside inside that company, which means they have one point of attack. They can be hacked. JP Morgan was hacked by cyber thieves not so long ago. Home Depot, Target, we've had all these companies get hacked, precisely because there's one central repository of information. The Bitcoin ledger resides on thousands of computers. You can't hack that.
And when you think about it, that sounds great. And because of the complicated process the network uses to verify records, it is very secure. Now, relax. I'm not going to get into what that process is or how it works, but I will share a really helpful, really dumb metaphor for why it is safe.
The way I like to think of it is that a blockchain is a highly processed thing, sort of like a chicken McNugget. And if you wanted to hack it, it'd be like turning a chicken McNugget back into a chicken. Now, someday someone will be able to do that, but for now, it's going to be tough.
Hold on. That is an absolutely horrible thought. So why is that reporter so happy about the idea? Because if anyone ever figures out how to turn a chicken McNugget back into a chicken, that chicken is going to be fucked up. He's going to spend the rest of his life suffering from PTSD and writing haunting poetry about the experience. The things I saw, buck, buckaw. My body is whole, but what of my soul? So very basically, that is the blockchain, a database that is nearly impossible to hack or tamper with, and which could possibly improve security, efficiency, and trust. That is why big companies like Walmart, IBM, and JP Morgan have all been experimenting with blockchain as a way to potentially share and secure data and transactions in a reliable, easy-to-access way. But it is still very early. No one yet knows what blockchain is really capable of. Honestly, don't worry if you still don't understand it. Most people don't. Dan thinks he does, and sure, he'll throw around terms like supply chain management, and it makes me want to punch him in his fucking face. Stop leaving printouts of Reddit threads on my desk, Dan. You know I'm just throwing them away. I hate you! The problem is, there is now enough excitement around the very word blockchain that it's become a magnet for investment. Reuters found that existing companies that merely added the word blockchain to their name saw their stock price, on average, increase more than threefold. And one of them was particularly dumb.
Long Island Iced Tea renamed themselves Long Blockchain, and guess what happened? Yeah, their stock tripled. Wow. I'm just gonna say it. To people who watch markets, this seems so stupid it's not even worth reporting.
Yeah, well, I don't care how stupid it is, it clearly works. That is why from now on, this show will be called Last Bit Tonight with Blockchainiver. Triple the ratings! Triple! Take that to the bank! So now, at this point, you know basically what Bitcoin is, it's the future, bro, and why people are excited about blockchain. It won't let people chicken up your nugs. But you might still be wondering, well, what about all the other cryptocurrencies that I've heard about? Okay, well, the key software to create a coin is open source, meaning that just about anyone can create one. So they have done that. There are now over 1,500 cryptocurrencies that you can buy with names like Titcoin, Trump Coin, Jesus Coin, Insane Coin, Electronium, Wax, Particle, Deep Onion, Snovio, Pluton, Nubits and Clams. A list so insane that you can't tell which ones are real and which I made up because they're all real. I didn't make any up. I tried to come up with a dumber name than Deep Onion and it just can't be done. And look, not all of these coins are like Bitcoin, just hoping to be the next currency. Oftentimes, startup companies will sell a coin to try and raise money as an alternative to issuing stock. And sometimes those coins are meant as tokens to be used for services that the startup might eventually provide. Kind of like the tokens at Chuck E. Cheese, only virtual and not redeemable at a rat-based food emporium. It has become incredibly easy to issue coins, so companies are doing it a lot. Initial coin offerings, or ICOs, raised over $6 billion in 2017, with one company raising $35 million in under 30 seconds. Normally, when someone makes that much money that fast, they did it by walking up to Bill O'Reilly, sitting in silence for 26 seconds, and then saying, "I recorded our phone calls." But the vast majority of people buying these coins are not paying much attention to the details of the startups they're attached to. They are just responding to the huge fervour. And there is a lot of it. There is an entire online subculture of YouTube personalities and subreddits that have a cult-like devotion to buying these coins. And if you stumble into one, you'll find they have a whole shorthand. One key term is HODL, based on a misspelling of hold. This is a foundational principle. Don't sell when prices drop. Instead, HODL in the face of FUD, fear, uncertainty and doubt. Otherwise, you might miss out when the coin moons or rockets up in value, meaning you'll get wrecked or lose money and never be able to afford the trader's ultimate goal, a Lambo, which is short for Lamborghini, because of course it fucking is. And if you are thinking that these terms belong in a rap video, some crypto traders agree.
Throw your hands in the air, man. If you down with the blockchain. I ain't got time for the haters, man. We about to grow to 1 million. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Tell me, are you down with the crypto? Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang.
Cool. And I've got to be honest there, it is hard not to watch that and deep down want to be in the hodl gang. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. The point is, many people are buying coins for no reason other than that other people are buying them. And this mania has gotten to the point where even a coin started as a complete joke, like Dogecoin, can rocket up in value.
It's named after an internet meme that was popular at the time, a photo of Shiba Inu with colourful comments written in broken English around it, as you can see. Now, Dogecoin's total market value has almost doubled since the start of this year to over $2 billion. There appear to be no obvious reasons for this.
Yeah, that's because there were no obvious reasons. The whole point of the coin was to make fun of how people will buy anything, and then people did exactly that. That is no less ridiculous than if you started a joke band after the Beatles called the Woofles that was All St. Bernards, and they went on to have 40 #1 hits and were knighted by the Queen. This is clearly ridiculous, but for investors it's also potentially dangerous because right now this market is essentially the Wild West and ripe for exploitation. For instance, it can be easy to manipulate the value of certain coins through things like pump and dump schemes. Regulators crack down on those when they happen with stocks, but they've been slower to act in the crypto market. And that may explain why some groups have felt perfectly comfortable posting videos like this.
Welcome to Crypto Calls, a leading cryptocurrency pump group, where we skyrocket the value of coins for 6 hours at a time. For information about our weekly pumps, including the name of the coin we are pumping, follow our Telegram channel. Once released, be sure to buy the coin as quickly as possible. When everyone in the group has purchased the coin, we will begin advertising it to other investors on social media. During the final hour, outside investors will fill our orders as they FOMO into the coin that we have increased in value 1,000 to 2,000%. By the time that the 6 hours is up, everyone in our group will have sold for profit. Crypto Calls. Together, we profit.
Holy shit! It's kind of destabilising to see a brazen advertisement for something that you could have sworn was illegal. It's like watching a commercial and hearing, hey, do you not have a child? Do you want somebody else's? Then Kidnappers Corner is the group for you. Here at Kidnappers Corner, we take children that are not ours and bring them home with us. It's easy peasy, toddlers seasy. And look, pump and dumps are just the beginning here. There are dodgy companies everywhere, some of which just look like old-school frauds with some crypto sauce poured on top. Take BitConnect. At one point, it was worth around $3 billion. Now, BitConnect told investors that if they handed over money, they could get returns as high as 40% a month. And a rate of return that high may immediately seem suspicious to you, but remember, the market was soaring, and BitConnect had excited investors like this guy who spoke at one of the conferences.
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, Big Connect? Let me tell you that we are really changing the world as we know it. The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No, no, no. Be Connect! Wow! Be Connect!
Yes. The last time I saw someone that irrationally exuberant about a major commitment, he was roughly 7 years away from divorcing Katie Holmes. Yeah, and I don't blame him for anything there. He's got a good head on his shoulders. You stay clear, Tommy. Stay clear, my boy. Now, that man's passion has become famous in the crypto world, as well as his conviction that the business he'd become involved in was 100% legit.
I am saying to so many people who said that this was going to be a con artist game, that this was going to be a scammer game. Hey, you're going to lose all your money. My wife still doesn't believe in me. I'm telling him, but honey, listen, this is real. No. That's a scam. Then I said to myself, you know what? When I started to put $10,000 a day on her, right on her, on her table, then she's going to say, whoa!
Oh, women, am I right? Always nagging you not to get sucked into get-rich-quick schemes, leaving your marriage in a state of financial ruin. La, 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 la. Big Connect! Now, this will not surprise you. BitConnect essentially collapsed. Regulators in 2 states issued cease and desist orders, and BitConnect's reportedly been labelled a Ponzi scheme by many in the industry, something nobody had any reason to suspect from their promotional material, except that it featured this actual illustration of their bonus system, which seems to just be a picture of a man coming up with the idea for a pyramid scheme. And I am not saying that every crypto coin is a scam, just as I'm not saying that every blockchain company is bullshit. What I am saying is, in a speculative mania, it can be incredibly hard to tell which companies are for real. And if you want a good example of this, just look at Block One. It's a startup whose coin offering has so far raised $1.5 billion, which will go toward developing a new type of software project called EOS. Now, just for context, it took Facebook 7 years to raise $1 billion from investors. It took Uber 5 years. EOS surpassed that in around 9 months. And that is despite the fact the Wall Street Journal described Block One as a software startup that doesn't plan to sell any software and describes what it's selling, a digital token, as having no purpose. And while the company insists that EOS will be the most powerful infrastructure for decentralized applications, which they say will be usable, it hasn't launched yet. So you sort of just have to take their word for it, and they do talk a big game.
Everything will be better, faster, and cheaper. Everything will be more connected. Everything will be more trustworthy. Everything will be more secure. Everything that exists is no longer going to exist in the way that it does today. Everything in this world is about to get better.
Oh, please, douche. Everything that exists will no longer exist in the way that it does. How the fuck is EOS going to change this iguana? How is EOS going to both alter and improve Susan here? Susan is enough. Now that sleepy, creepy cowboy from the future is named Brock Pierce. he began his career appearing in The Mighty Ducks and in a Gushers commercial as a child who turns into a banana. Well, that banana then got involved with some very unsavoury figures. Just Google Brock Pierce scandal is all I'm saying there. And then he teamed up with EOS to help promote their Not Yet a product. He actually gave a speech at a tech conference last fall. And I want you to remember, as you listen to every word he's about to say, the company he's describing has raised $1.5 billion.
This is a chestahedron that I'm wearing, which is the logo of EOS. The chestahedron is the sacred geometrical shape of the heart. And if you're going to bring a technology to the world that has the potential to change everything, it's good when you do it with intention, and that seems like a good place to begin. This was my wedding at Burning Man last year. It was an entirely unicorn wedding. All the groomsmen were the color of the rainbow plus pink. All the bridesmaids, the color of the rainbow plus pink, and my best man was a woman dressed in black, cracking a whip.
OK, stop, Brock, stop, because I was already out at chestahedron, and I simply refuse to believe that a man who has the time to organise a unicorn wedding at Burning Man should be trusted around $1.5 billion. If someone turned up to mow your lawn and gave you that exact speech, you would tell them, no way, I don't trust you with my lawn. You're just going to organise a warlock quinceañera on it. Look, here is the thing. At the start of this piece, I said that I didn't want to make predictions. And who knows? Maybe EOS is going to be the next Google. I don't think it is. And I certainly don't think it can be worth over $1 billion at this point. But I could be wrong. I'm absolutely not, but I could be. The point is, if you choose to invest in the cryptocurrency space, just know that you're not investing, you're gambling, which is fine, but you should know that that is what you're doing. And prices do go down. Bitcoin could eventually be worthless, or it could be worth billions and adopted as a new global currency, although if that does happen, I, for one, will not experience it because I'll be in an underground bunker trying to avoid Dan's smug little face for the rest of time. I hate your belt more than anything else in that photo. The important thing to remember here is that this is a brand new, very complicated space and literally nobody knows how it's going to develop. So you need to be careful. And I know that sounds boring. Caution is a tough sell when you're up against BitConnect and HODL Gang, which is why I have invited a special guest to help make that message a little more exciting.
Hey, hey, hey!
Oh.
Hey! Now, to be sharing this super exciting, hunky-dory Magic Mike moment with all of you. Wow. Because tonight we're going to be talking about responsibility!
Oh, responsibility! OK, you've got to tell me more about this responsibility. Does this mean I shouldn't just throw everything I own into cryptocurrencies?
That's right, Yon. That's right.
I shouldn't do it?
No.
That's a no.
That's a no.
Okay.
No.
That's a hard no. Okay.
Hard no. The crypto market is extremely volatile and insufficiently regulated. They pump, they dump. They pump and dump and pump and dump and pump and dump and pump and dump. Pumping it and dumping it and they're dumping it and they're pumping it.
It's true.
They pump and dump and they pump and they dump and they dump and they pump.
All the time.
And they dump.
Yes, that's right.
They dump.
Yep.
Listen up, bitches and gentle coins. Investing in crypto could be like getting in on Google on the ground floor.
When you say that sounds absolutely great.
Or it could be like getting in on Google Glass on the ground floor, and that turned out to be a one-story building.
That was a single. That was a single story. So let's break this down. What is the big lesson here?
Never invest any more than you are willing to lose. And if you do, don't just blindly hodl, okay? Instead, you have to be extremely grateful, okay?
Okay.
You have to be grateful.
Okay. You gotta be grateful.
Hashtag grateful gang.
Oh, okay.
Hashtag, yeah.
Grateful gang.
Grateful gang.
Grateful gang, I love it. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Grateful gang. Responsibility.
He makes a good point. You make a very
I tried to make
you make a good point.
I'm making good points.
Responsibility!
Responsibility!